When I was much younger, I would borrow a book from my school library. After reading it, if that book becomes, a very nice book, if that book eventually becomes a very nice book, I come back home and I stand in front of the mirror and I talk to myself about that book. I spend my time talking to myself about that book, telling myself or reminding myself why I love the book so much, telling myself the reasons why that book is better than every other book I have read so far, and it has not changed. Look at me, 23. I'm still doing it. And I did that recently, and I was like, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I doing this to myself? Because I should just do it on my channel. I have a channel where I talk about bookish things. So why am I telling myself? And don't look at me like that. I'm not sad. I have friends that I talk to my books about. But sometimes there's just a limit to how I can do it. But now I have a channel with people that are just as crazy about books as I am. And now I have the liberty to do it. So today, I'm going to take my time and tell you 5 books, the 5 best books I have loved. The 5 best books of 2022. I'm going to tell you. You're going to sit down for the next few minutes to hear me rave, preach, and talk about all the books that I have enjoyed so far. It's September 4th, so I think it's safe to say that these are the best books of 2022 for me. I don't think I can remove any book from this list. I don't think I can add any book to this list. I hope I do add a book to this list. I wouldn't mind making it 6. But so far I have 5. The first book on this, and I'm going to do it in no particular order, okay? Don't ask me which is the best in this list. They are all amazing. The first book in this list is Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt. This book was a rom-com. Okay, it is a rom-com. Okay, I'm not about to play with my tenses now. This book is a rom-com about imperfect characters, and when I mean imperfect characters, it's the way this author took her time to peel her character's skin and show us how imperfect these characters are. Faye in this book was what you'd consider a talkative, okay, and somehow this book helps. The character development was on point, and it shows us how you should not be scared to do whatever it is you want to do. Like, this is not just some motivational shit. Like, they gave us life examples. She gave us life examples on how to do that, and this is my favorite rom-com ever. No cap, no cap, honestly, my favorite rom-com ever. And just know that every book on this list is going to be like 5-star. I'm not joking, I'm not kidding, honestly. And then the second book on this list is The Broken People's Playlist by Chimeka Garrix. I'm angry that I didn't get to read this book on time as many other people did, but I am happy at the same time that I did, because this book was a soundtrack inspired book. Every single story was inspired by a soundtrack. Like, after I read this book, I was like, people are gifted, people are talented. How did you do this? How did you blend this? The emotions in this book, like, we traveled from happiness to sorrow to grief. Every single backstory of every African country was placed here. Every societal trouble, that we talk about in our various countries was placed in this book with ease. And I got it. I ate it. I was satisfied. I was not satisfied because this book has, when they say a movie has rewatch value, this book has a reread value. I think I would put it like that. And I can read any of these books on this list any day, anytime. I don't care, honestly. And then the third book on this list is The Ghost Bride by Yang Zi Chu. Yes, I don't know if I pronounced her name right, but this book was amazing. The depiction of the afterlife in this book was beautiful. I hated the fact that every time people want to talk about the afterlife, they somehow make it scary. They somehow make it very, very intense. Like, it's not that deep, bro. It's not that deep. Can you calm down with the whole thing? Like, yeah, in African countries, it's always like, oh, you're going to go to hellfire if you did not live your life right, blah, 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 blah. Can you calm down with that, bro? I already know. The depiction of the afterlife in this book was amazing. It was amazing. And it's how this woman somehow described her characters, gave her characters flesh in a way that I could resonate with these characters, in a way that my imaginations were not faulted. It was not faulted. And I know this because I eventually watched the movie, the adaptation of this book. And it was exactly how I pictured it. Ah, and to think it was her debut novel. Jesus, people are gifted. Actually, this writing thing is not a joke, honestly. And then the fourth book. Actually, I'm sorry. The fourth book in this list is Honey and Spice by Bolu Babalola. Babalola, not Babalola. I'm sorry. I understand that some of you are not Nigerian or are not Yoruba, so you don't know how to pronounce her name. It's just funny. Every time I scroll on TikTok, I find someone talking about this book. I wait to see if the person is white. If the person is white, I wait to see them screw up the name, and I'll just have a good laugh. Just to have a good laugh, basically. Funny feelings taught me that you have to look for the laugh in life. If not, life will drain the happiness out of you. That's just it. And every time they do the Babalola, I laugh out loud. Honestly, like it gives me a good laugh. I understand that it's not your language and all, and I'm not faulting any of you for that. I appreciate that you would even love this book. I'm even talking like the author, like I read the book. Oh my goodness, this book was amazing. Kiki and Malachi's little squabble, the whole enemies to lovers thing. I love it when an enemies to lovers trope give me a genuine reason why they initially hated each other. Okay, don't give me that, oh, he looked at me funny. Excuse me, I don't care about that. I don't give a fuck about that. Okay, give me a genuine reason why you hated him at first, and this book delivered. This book delivered on every ramification, like every center. It delivered university academic pressure of a Nigerian girl. It delivered. It delivered having that best friend that has your back every fucking time. Amina delivered. It delivered that one friend that has a music reference for every story and everything. It delivered. It delivered spice. It delivered friendship. It delivered character development. It delivered everything. Every single thing. And now I'm pissed. I'm pissed that I didn't get to read this book in my teens. I'm pissed that I'm here at this age and I'm reading this book. Okay. Now the last book on this list is The Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl. This book hits home, actually. This book hits home and you wouldn't understand. This book hits home. For the longest, I have been looking for that book that would, it's very, very difficult to find someone that has the same experience as you. And when you find that person, somewhere at the back of your mind, deep down, you want to make that person your best friend because you know that person, know what you have been through. Somehow, it's just there. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. But this book, even if Monique was not a real person, I don't know if it was a real person, but it felt like the author was telling the story of a real person, and that person happened to be me somehow, and it was deep. This story hit home, and I am sad I didn't get to read this book when I was a teen, like when I was much younger. Maybe I would have navigated my life differently. I don't know what I would have done differently, but I just feel like I should have read this book back in the day. This book was about a church girl that didn't want to be too churchy, a pastor's daughter, and how all the things they told her, she tried to follow them, but somehow, she found out that she didn't have to follow them word for word because they might just be, overreacting. It was an amazing experience, amazing experience. I have made a reel for each and every one of these books, and I'm going to I'm posting them already on my booktok, and I'm going to keep posting them till everyone gets tired because these books are amazing. Like they all have reread value, and I'll read these books any day. Like they have become my comfort reads, and I am speechless at this point. I am speechless, but I'm not going to stop preaching and reading about these books. And I hope that you love these books as much as I love them because I want you. I want the best for you. Okay, I want the best for you, and I cannot be here, I have a feeling that I am already your book bestie. Some of you, not everyone. Don't look at me like that. And I don't want you to have to suffer, reading whilst you're reading, trying to understand what's going on when you could just have a book that does that for you already. Read this book and tell me how you feel. If you've read this book, please let me know what you thought of in the comment section. Okay, I love you guys. See you next time. Mwah.